Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are tuned in to the Vitamin D with Dawn Dai podcast, and I am your host, Dawn Dai, here to get you excited about your life so that you can live life on purpose and for a purpose. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Vitamin D, it's a pun of my name. My name is Dawn, and you get vitamin D from the sun, so I'm here to shed light into your life. And I do this with inspirational insights and conversations with celebrities and everyday people like you and me. Because if you want to be better and you want to do better, then you're going to have to be able to see better. So join me on this journey of living our best lives and understanding and realizing how you are your greatest asset. You will not believe what I did. I just dang on near chopped off my finger. I shouldn't say that, but I definitely sliced my thumb. I was in the kitchen and I was, scalloping some red potatoes. And knowing doggone well, it starts with an M. What is the device where you take your vegetable and you can put it on there and then you just bring it back and forth and slice. Anywho, it has a handler thing that you put on top of the vegetable. Well, Dawn, why didn't you use that? Didn't do that. Dang on near sliced off my finger. God, dog. And then I did end up going to emergency. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but I'm not in the business of losing my fingers. And, there was a little bit of white meat plus a little bit of the bed of my nail, chipped off. And I figured it would be safe to be sorry. I figured I would rather be safe than to be sorry, rather. So I went up there. They put some liquid on there and patched it up, and I was on my way. And so now I'm all gassed out. Hey, anyway, time for a check-in.
Get your vitamin D right here with me and get excited about your life.
How you doing? I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So let me tell you what's going on. I think last time we spoke, I was so excited because I was like, Dawn Dai with Vitamin D in Studio E. Well, other things that are going on, we've really been going in behind the scenes and making sure that we have the structure of the show together. So if you've been listening, you might hear the breaks in between, like with the Anthony Hamilton, with the Liz Cross, with Ananda Lewis, just a lot of the celebrity and everyday amazing people on the show doing drops. I mean, we're emulating. So that definitely feels good. And Jeremiah, he up there behind the board right now. Let me tell you something. I say it all the time, and I'm going to say it again. Your dreams don't work unless you do. Vitamin D started out underneath a comforter in Harlem, New York, uptown, 140th and St. Nick, 582 St. Nicholas Avenue, to be exact. Was it 505B? And we were chuckling because the last episode we did, we had Jasmine Burke on there. And wow, it started years ago underneath the comforter. When Jeremiah joined along, we were up in my living room / office area. And I got him catty cornered. And I'm sitting in front of another area. And he's channeling in, talking to the guests. This was Jasmine when we first had her on the show, on the podcast for the conversation. She said, oh, I had to tell Dawn something. Jeremiah gonna lean over and say, hey, Dawn. And she's like, oh, Dawn's right there? Just a running joke. But I say all that to say, while Vitamin D was starting off underneath the comforter, we graduated to out of my house. First, I was in my closet. That's when I first interviewed J. Anthony Brown. You probably gonna see some of the earlier interviews because I was sweating. I was in the closet. And then we moved over into the living room. I had the TV in the picture. I had the plant. Now we in the studio. And so I'm chuckling because now Jeremiah is back there on the other side. And I'm in here. So that's what Studio E means. But as we are getting the show together and getting everything tight, that feels good. Also, I still don't know what's happening financially. Ain't that crazy? I know. And I say that because when they say you got to go all in for your dreams, you truly have to make a decision to go all in. And all in, I'm not saying give up everything you have, but all in meaning treading unfamiliar territory. That's what I think really means all in. I think some people think, oh, I have to be down out. No, you need to be in a state where you can grow, because if you understand, if you're familiar where you are and where you're residing, where's the growth in that? The growth is the changing process. And if you're consistently being the same, how are you growing? Hence, how are you changing? So I don't know what's going to happen. But I feel like it's going to be all right, because, just God gives sprinkling news, like just awesome on some for real transparency, because I'm not going to sell this whole idea of, oh, Dawn decided to lead the Steve Harvey Morning Show as a digital content producer and everything was all rainbows and butterflies. Some amazing stuff has happened, yes. But it doesn't mean that it isn't like scary or nerve-wracking. So I had gotten this, I had gotten a doctor's bill. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff because I want to make sure that I'm talking to the people. So I got a doctor's bill. Why am I embarrassed to say that? Oh my gosh, I'm working out of shame, and it shouldn't be embarrassing, because what if you listening right now could be dealing with the same thing? Dawn. So this is when I have to ask myself, Dawn, what do you want? See how transparent this is? Because if I say that I'm going to grow with this podcast and the world will know vitamin D, I have to get out of the business of whatever I'm holding back, because who am I protecting? Like, the truth is the truth. And like, I said this before in the episode, Gammy, Jada Pinkett's mother, she said, no one can beat you with your own truth. So doctor's bills, I have fibroids. And so I had to go get the scan and just making sure everything's together. And we'll talk about it some more, just how I've changed my diet, taking herbs and on this journey. I'm actually looking at a foundation right now because I want more people to talk about it. A lot of people don't understand how many African-American women suffer from fibroids and what it's like going through it. And the fact that I was just ashamed right now to say it. Why? Why do we cover this shame? Jeremiah probably is so tired of me talking about Brene Brown, but it's just so real, because this whole realm of vulnerability allows to connect. So I say all that to say, they did the ultrasound. I was all up in there. They did whatever. I got this bill. And I said, well, what we gonna do, God? And it's something when you just hold on and you just steadfast. And I was talking to Charlotte, that's my sister. And she was like, well, girl, that's not something that you worry about, right now. So I waited a little bit longer. Then, thank God, I got a notice from my insurance that knocked off like 90% of the bill. Dead ass. So it's one of those things of how I always say, how you got to put one foot in front of the other, and how things just work out. Like it has to work out. So like I said, just flying around and just in the wind, it's like God is going to make a way, but you have to open the door and I guess put a foot forward. So that's on the good news. What else is going on? Let's talk about this whole idea of vulnerability. It's really changing my life, yo. And just like when I'm talking about growth, what vulnerability is allowing me is to really connect. Like, I'm sure me just talking about having fibroids probably has connected with somebody. And yes, we're going to get more in the conversation because it's very jarring. It's very shocking. It's very unnerving. And the fact that so many other people can relate and aren't talking about it. So hopefully we made a connection there. But vulnerability, I never really was one to put a lot out there. And not because I didn't want to. My whole thing is I got to be safe. But my thing is like, sometimes I'm being safe. Who are you protecting yourself from? I don't know. I'm asking that right now to myself. But in treading these unfamiliar waters, I've opened up myself to a lot of opportunity, even sitting right here, even talking to you right now. I opened up the vulnerability to stand into Dawn and say, Dawn, what do you want? I'm opening up the possibility for a relationship because I'm opening myself up to that. Putting myself on the front line. I think oftentimes we don't put ourselves on the front line afraid of what we're going to lose. But imagine putting yourself on the front line for everything you're going to gain. And I think that's what it's about, living your best life. So that's what's going on right now. And right when I think, or right when I feel like I want to go in despair, God just sends like these whispers, these opportunities. And I think that's the part that has to hold on to your faith. That's when you really have to hold on to your faith, because you can't rely on what you see. You got to rely on the vision. And the vision was given to you Like when you were a kid, like that's why you thought you could fly and do all this cool stuff because you had this vision, you had this superpower in you, you know? And while the fruit of what it looks like or what it's supposed to look like when it comes up, I see how the roots are digging deep. So it's exciting coming up on some talk shows and stuff. Yo, we're going to talk about that. Sometimes I think I just look back and not to sound any kind of way. This is just me being honest. I am one of those people that like when I go to TV shows, like talk shows, game shows, they pick me to be on TV. And I'm walking in that. I'm honing it. And I'm not trying to say it because I'm trying to sound conceited or I'm trying to do too much. Is that's the favor that God put on my life. And I don't think it's by accident why I am drawn to the TV, why I'm doing what I do right now, because I get life from it. It's like, somebody was like, Dawn, well, how do you get on there? And how do you not clam up? Because that's when I'm on. And the thing that's so interesting, I guess, when the cameras are on, I told my esthetician, yes, that's how the skin stays together. Shout out to Cassandra. I'm not concerned who's looking at me. Because I think that's probably why we clam up, because it's like all eyes on us, on me. I'm just concerned with just being Dawn. And you know, I had an emotional moment. I can't talk about it right now, but I'm going to tell you what the show is after it airs, because I ain't trying to get in trouble. You know, this is a major opportunity. But I was telling my trainer, I was on a major talk show, nationally syndicated talk show, a moment, and this host said my name, and we're going to talk about it later because, baby. But I was telling my trainer, Lateef, and I had told him, I was like, thank you so much. Thank you so much, because I was able to be on national TV in a sports bra and spandex pants. Now, if you followed me, you know that one of my dreams is to jog in the New York City Marathon in a sports bra and spandex shorts. But the fact that I was able to love on Dawn, which is that whole vulnerability of stepping up, going to work out, talking, and I got something else to say about working out and this weight loss journey too. But because I chose Dawn, right? I was able to get up there and be authentically Dawn and be magical. And I think that's the thing that's amazing. Like when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable of who we are, and maybe perhaps that's just allowing us to see us, then we can truly be who we are meant to be. And if we are who we're meant to be, can you imagine what he can do? Like, dog, imagine like the wheel on a tire. It goes round. If the tire thought that it was supposed to be a ladder, where could it go? But now that the tire is placed on a car, it just keeps moving. That may not have been the best analogy, but what I'm trying to say is, when you can see yourself and show up as yourself, oh man, amazing things can happen. And it must be like some part of life we get caught up in and perhaps looking at everyone that's looking at us, rather than just looking at ourselves and being who we are. So I had to thank him, because him giving me the tools to work out and do what I need to do allowed me to authentically perform on the show. What? In a sports bra and spandex pants. Now, I will say this as part of the check-in that I want to share. I've been getting a little annoyed with myself. Yeah. And I'm just going to shed light on it because I'm going to keep it real with you. I say that I'm getting annoyed with myself because, like I just told you about the fibroid situation. Now, we're going to talk about this because I'm sure somebody out there done had a blood clot. Well, my dad died of a blood clot. When I started out with the Steve Harvey Morning Show, that first week I had a pain in my leg. I don't know what it was. I thought I was walking on some heels and I had got a cramp or something like that. I went to the doctor. Mind you, this is a prime example why I went to the doctor on this. I wasn't going to go. And my friend was like, Dawn, your legs should not just be hurting like that. I'm just like, So I ended up going up there and lo and behold, it was a blood clot. So while I just sliced this finger, I just come in the mode of not taking chances. But I say all that to say, when I was diagnosed with that, so that was a whole stressor. Then we got the whole fibroid situation. If you have any idea, we can imagine what that's about. But I said I had to change my life and I had to change my diet. Hence, that's why I went to the whole vegan lifestyle. You know, that's when I outsourced this guy with the herbs. But the reason why I'm getting frustrated, because now that I transition out, you know, the vegan meal plan that I was doing, some things, it was time for me to change. Also, due to my budget, time for things to change. And I'm working on getting familiar back in the grocery stores. I know it sounds crazy, but when you get used to certain things, that's why we have to remember to keep working our muscles and to keep growing. You almost forget how to work in other environments. So it's almost like going into the grocery store and I'm not sure what I buy. And I used to cook all the time. I used to have, and I should get 𝘝𝘪𝘵𝘀, the Eat Clean Diet Recharge. I used to do that. And I made all my meals shredded down. But because of the fibroids, there are certain processed foods that you should not be eating. So it's time to make food. Well, Dawn, if we're working on a mission, you working your butt off 3 days a week. Why you keep eating these tuna sandwich and chips? It ain't even like I'm eating gourmet fatty stuff. But I guess I'm frustrated because, it's the same thing that I keep talking about all the time. What do you want? See, I keep saying like, Dawn, I want you to support me, Dawn self, support yourself and to shrink these fibroids and to get this weight off. Because I know what I operate in my true self. And when I say in my true self, just looking on the weight side, it's something to be said when you don't have to sit there and keep pulling on your shirt, to keep adjusting something, trying to breathe in, can't close your legs keep splitting something, because that's what you're constantly worried about. But when you are comfortable in yourself, and I'm not saying just because you're overweight, I'm saying that's my truth and what I was doing, that was something that I was always checking for. And now being in a situation where that's not a thing, well, Dawn, why aren't you supporting the mission? You are seeing the benefits and the confidence, how inspiring you are for other people. Why are you cutting yourself short? So then, Dawn, what is it that you want?
Hey everyone, I'm OT.
And I'm D.
And we are investors in 𝘸𝘪𝘵 Wine Company.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Vitamin D with Dawn Dai podcast. Available wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Like, I really got frustrated because on top of the fact, so if a sidebar of the whole thing of weight gain, of just eating all these processed foods and stuff, sidebar on the fact of enlarging the fibroids because of the processed food. Are we not thinking about the chemicals that can cause cancer? Do you not thinking about the fact that your mother died of stage 4 breast cancer? Your aunt died of stage 4. Well, I think it may have been stage 4, but she died of cancer. My other aunt had cancer. Like, what's up? And it's like, dog, you got to get to a point where you're going to have to make a decision of what you want in your life. You know what? I put up this quote recently. I'm about to read it to you right now because that applies to what I'm saying. I've been on this trip for a minute there just talking about what it is that you want. And I put up this quote. I said, to change your life, you need to change your priorities. Dog, what do you want? Now, I'm sitting here all day talking about I want to live my best life on purpose and for purpose. And here I am, this part of this addiction or whatever this is, whatever this stinky stuff is, I need it out. And perhaps I need to share and I need to talk about it because this whole idea of sometimes that we sweep things under the rug as if it doesn't exist. So as much as I love food, there is an appropriate way to love food. Now, while I say like I will do the whole vegan lifestyle, I'm going to be transparent that it's going to be veganish because I like food. But I think everything is about balance. Heck, just like we talk about the yin and the yang, the night and the day, one can't exist without the other. But it's not like we're going 5 days straight of just sunlight or us staying awake 5 days straight. You got to rest. You got to teeter a little bit. So that's what I am annoyed with myself with that because I'm not choosing Dawn. Not how I should. And if I'm going to sit here and tell folks how to love on their stuff, they got to be an example. But here's another thing that I'm going to say to you. It's something that I have to say to myself. Have grace with yourself, Dawn. That's something that I'm learning too. Because I think sometimes we go on to the extreme and do OD a little too much. And it's just like, wait a minute, see yourself and see yourself as a person. See yourself as somebody who's not perfect and see yourself as perfectly imperfect, if that makes sense. Like, because I think we all deserve a little patience, this, if we talk about the whole weight loss with me, it's not like I got here overnight. No, this took some time. So Dawn, take some time to unprogram some things, Yeah. So that's what's going on, but it's good. Good things are revving up with the podcast. And that's why I know I can stay positive. And I say to you, like, whatever it is that you want and whatever you're going after, just keep going. Don't rely on to see the leaves or the fruit just yet, because you can't forget about the roots. Because Lord forbid, your tree grows all the way up and you may experience something that was a little off-putting and it falls down. No, you got to get those roots strong. You got to know what you're going after. You got to put in that sweat equity, whatever it looks like, and have grace. And grace also looks like a friend had hit me up, and this brother, super talented. He reads poetry, and he hit me up and he was like, wow, Dawn, I can't believe you started your podcast underneath the comforter. He was like, you're in the studio. I'm like, yes. Because I always tell him, I'm like, just pick up the camera, record yourself. You just got to get used to doing the motion. I was just telling someone else. I was like, you don't wake up and decide to be a mother. You just are a mother. See, we get in this whole thing of perfection, which doesn't allow grace, that we're already supposed to have everything together. You just operate in it. And some days aren't going to be the best or the perfect day. So while I'm telling my friend about the portrait, you may not read it perfect if it's her first time, but it's just like, you got to operate in it. You got to get the groove. You got to lean with it, rock with it. Lean with it, rock with it. You know what I'm saying? Because when you lean, sometimes you got to rock, and sometimes you rock, you got to lean. So yeah, that's what's going on. A lot of everything, but I think it's all good because it's all joy. And I feel loved on. I feel love. And I feel like I'm loving on Dawn, taking chances on Dawn. I'm allowing Dawn to experience cool things inside. All right, I'm done talking. Let me ask you something. Have you subscribed? Or did you just stumble upon this? Well, I think you should subscribe now because I probably said something that was good if you're still listening. And if it was, make sure you tell somebody else to tell somebody else about it, okay? In addition to that, would you like to be a guest on the show? Is there some topic that you feel like people should know more about? Is there a cause that you want to support? Or perhaps you want to write an advice letter and you'd like to get my thoughts on it. I want to encourage you to email me. VitaminD@DawnDaiSpeaks.com. Myself or Jeremiah will open it up. We'll check it out. And who knows, if you got a product or if you got a great story, we might have you in on the show. Or if you need a letter, you need answers, some advice, we can answer that too. And it doesn't have to always be long because we do quick doses. It can be short. Also, we're on YouTube. You can check out some highlights from the show, some quick doses, some monologues, where I get my inspiration on, advice letters, all that good stuff. At Dawn Dai Speaks. That's on YouTube. Also, if you want some inspiration and vitamin D in the meantime, in between time, and you want to keep up what's going on with me, you can follow me on all social media at Dawn Dai Speaks. What else am I missing? Well, I guess I'm about to head out of here. I'm in the business of making dreams come true, and I damn sure ain't gonna forget about mine. So until next time, I want you to always remember that you are your greatest asset.
Get your vitamin D right here with me and get excited